Loki, which I have not discussed the show itself. But what I'm about to show you, what you've probably seen other creators talk about, but what I'm about to show you does nothing but really confirm everything that I've said about the direction of not just the Marvel Cinematic Universe, entertainment really in general, but more so with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and as well as DC Comics and whatever they call doing with their universes, and that everything has to, like anything that you see, let's say, going forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Kevin Feige's already confirmed this. Victoria Alonso has talked about this as well, where their priority is what box they could check first. And yeah, they'll tell some stories and may even call themselves referencing a comic book or two every now and then, though they'll be rather loose depictions. You get what I'm saying? Really, it's what box can they check first. So if they can check a box, then they'll tell whatever story they can, certainly around that, but priority first, number one. And I know a lot of folks that watch my material, for example, didn't believe that when I would say that. They thought I would be over exaggerating, and other creators that would talk about what's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we'd be over exaggerating. We'd be being way too dramatic about it. This is not what they're going to do. And more examples of not only the people that are part of the actual guys that have the control, so like the Kevin Feige's of the world, but obviously the directors, the producers, the actors and actresses have made it so clear, abundantly clear, where they're at with what direction they want to go, and that is prioritizing their personal social preferences. Some call them agendas. I think more of it as just they have their social preferences and they just want to live that through the character and tell stories centered around those ideas through these characters that you guys generally are familiar with already, whether it be you're a comic book reader or something. Obviously, when they more so do like their own stories, they're usually dead on arrival if they're not connected to like these bigger brands. So that's the way that they're able to tell their stories, and they make it clear. And I have yet another example of this. Kate Herron, I think is how you say her name, is she's a writer director. I mean, she's the exec and director, it looks like, of Loki. Okay, and this is again the show for Disney Plus, which I have not covered really at all. And hell, this is another example of what it is and what it is that they're trying to present and what it is that they put first and foremost. So the fact that people think that we as like comic book fans are obligated to just support this different universe, mantle, all this other bull crap that they say, basically just be a pig and consume anything it is that they give you. This is what Kate had to say. If you're looking at it, you can see the tweet. For the moment, and again, this is what she's saying. I'm not paraphrasing it. I'm not quoting it like loosely. This is direct post from her, and I'm reading it verbatim. From the moment I joined Loki, it was very important to me and my goal to acknowledge Loki was bisexual. I'll repeat that one more time because all this does is prove me right again. I know y'all probably tired of me. I don't give a goddamn shit that you're tired of me continuously saying I was right, but I was fucking right. So I have the obligation really to sit up here and let you know how fucking right that I was. Repeating it one more time, this first line. From the moment I joined Loki, it was very important to me and my goal to acknowledge Loki was bisexual. It is part of who he is. No, it's not. And who I am too. Again, backtracking just a little bit. This is her telling you everything that I have been saying about the direction of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and really how they use entertainment and things that you're connected to as vanity projects and projects in which they could just tell whatever goofy ass stories and self-inserts. She says it blatant and it makes it clear. There is no conspiracy here, you jackasses. None. This is what she's saying. It is part of who he is and part of who she is too. So she's trying to live through Loki. I know this was a small step, but I'm happy and the heart is so full to say that this is now canon. And basically there's a line that she is basically highlighting. Hey, we wanted to specifically plug that in there to make sure you knew that he was bisexual. And then this is understanding who Loki is and who the character is. It's hilarious that People conflate the moronic idea that he is like a one of them in terms of whatever, how they feel about their own personal sexuality, because he tricks people and fucking shapeshifts. And in the event that he may shapeshift to be a woman or something, again, it's generally something obviously up his sleeve. This is what damn shapeshifters do. They conflate that as, okay, well, he must play for every team in the goddamn world. Never mind, that's bullshit. So when she's saying like, oh, well, this is part of who he is. No, it's not. It's what you want him to be about. Simple as that. Nonetheless, you're seeing the tweet. So when you guys get so bent out of shape, the hate watchers, which is what I call you, well, he just makes videos being dramatic, reactionary, getting people amped up for nothing. No. They tell you what their game plan is, guys. It's not me making it up. They're telling you what their game plan is. The people who want to get upset at guys like myself for calling him out or calling them out, her out, whoever is the one that says this stuff, of those that didn't want it, basically they didn't want it to be true. That's more so what it boils down to. They didn't want it to be true. They didn't like the idea that we were right. But we are. So when you see something like this and you wonder, man, hey, man, you don't say anything positive about what's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Why would I? Look at this shit. You guys are putting above all else what social statements that you can make when you make this character appear or these characters appear, because you're obsessed with these really arbitrary concepts of representation, diversity, and all sorts of things. So that has clouded these guys' minds. So you have something that gained ground, not by doing this, by the way, but 10 years in the making, they built this universe up, for example, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All actors, directors, they're using it as vanity projects. Definitely, you've seen what happened over the last years with the growth of the advocacy for social justice being really in the forefront. They don't really care about entertainment. They'll tell like half the population they hate them because they didn't vote. In the same way, it is about social statements and really social political statements that they can make first. That's what they tell me. That's what they tell everybody else. But for whatever reason, people do not like the idea that we bring the shit up. And I had been calling this out for a very long time with what was happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I said, I've done videos documenting this, obviously, and that they care about that more than anything else. So unfortunately, what you're going to end up getting is boring stories that shouldn't be even stories, characters that should have never appeared. When you do get a character that you wanted to appear, they're not going to be anything like, if at all, the characters that you know and love and are familiar with in like more of the legacy, like the comic books per se, because that doesn't matter. First on the list, in terms of what they want to highlight, what they want to prioritize, what box can they check? You got companies and production studios building entire policies around that. What box can we check? We'll tell a story here and there, right? But we got to be able to check the box first, because that's first and foremost. That's the most important. We want to make sure our makeup and all this, want to make sure this community represented. Diversity is our strength. And it's never in thought. Never in thought. So I was right. Again, it's another example of this. They don't even know how to develop good characters. Usually what it is it's a bait and switch, right? Like the kind of what this is, as well as like what Iceman is in the comic books, where he was a playboy and then out of nowhere he's a fucking he's a homosexual, like out of nowhere. Like just because Jean Grey, You know the story, one of the most criminal acts that have ever happened in mainstream comics. So that's the type of stuff they have to do. Just bait is switch. Because they're incapable of actually even developing, like, let's say if they wanted a character to be like bisexual as an example. They have no idea how to make a character that is bisexual without overemphasizing the fact that he or she is bisexual. They're incapable of doing it. They don't even know how to do that. It's, well, we got to make sure that these guys know. And generally, it's okay. We got to beat the audience over the head with it, and it's usually going to be out of place. So we're just going to make a character that's never even been that, really. And we're going to make that, like, true, and then I'm going to let all the companies, or rather publications, media companies know, hey, look at us, we're signaling. I'm living through Loki because they're bisexual, or that's what she said. She said it's a part of who he is and a part of who she is. That's what she said. I highlighted for you just in case for you people that are watching it. She said that, not me. So it's a self-insert, effectively. She did that. She bragged about it. I was right. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.